So this is Laura, aka the Sound Sommelier, here with the Whooligan. Whooligan, what's your earliest memory of hip hop?
My earliest memory of hip hop is, probably my older brother, low key. I was, I was memorizing songs, second to none to to like old school East Coast hip hop shit. We shared a room growing up, so I was very young, and he would make me memorize these songs before I went to sleep. Like I would be in bed, I shared a bed with him, and so I would always have to memorize these joints before I could actually fall asleep. But then, he threw in like Bobby Caldwell and all this other stuff and but I was young memorizing rap tracks for real.
I like it. So growing up in a Latino household, what are some of the earliest records you recall hearing as a child?
My parents were big on, all the New York and salsa and jazz. Even, from Tito Puente to Celia Cruz to Julio Jaramillo. It goes back. They love Michael Jackson too. So I was listening to a lot of contemporary soul at the time and that kind of vibe. But I was raised on red wine and salsa records for sure.
I like it. So you spent most of your formative years in the Bay. How did you land a job at Amoeba Records, and what role did it play in your decision to pursue a career in music?
Speaking of Amoeba, I just saw my brother Dion Decibels. What's up, bro? Yeah, it's crazy. I was working, so I got a scholarship to play soccer at SF State, at San Francisco, and I was playing that for a couple years, but I was mad broke. And I was like, all right, I love soccer. I've been playing all my life, but I want to make some money. And I was always juggling music and soccer growing up. That was like, in a Latin household, it's food, soccer, music. That's just like the vibe. Mm-hmm. And so finally I got to a point where I was in I forget what class I was in, but the woman who ran the world section at Amoeba was I think it was like a speech communications. You know how some of the
they have speakers come in? Mm-hmm.
No. She was in my class. She was like,
oh, she was in the class with you. Got it.
So it's like one of the, it's like an OG that comes back to college and befriends like the 19-year-old.
I think I was that person. Yeah.
So it's basically, so we were in class together, and she was like, "Oh my God, you're so cool, blah blah. You should talk about music and this and that. You should totally try to get a job at Amoeba Music." And I was like, "Amoeba, yeah, right. That's the holy grail of record stores. There's no way I would ever be able to get a job at Amoeba." She's like, I run the world section. I'll get you in. You're perfect. Blah blah. And this is at the time when Amoeba was getting 50 applications a day. We were just all day just trying to work there. This is when records and all that were really at the height of it. Right before it went digital, which is the zenith, right? Boom, it hits that, and then it comes down with the digital age. But that was it for me. That's all I wanted to do. I was sharing my love of music for people, and I was being able to talk about music all day. If there was a hip hop in store, I would grab the mic while I was working and host it in front of all the, introducing Ghostface and hieroglyphics, and everyone was coming in, and I was they're like, did we approve Julio to do this? No, we just wanted to grab the mic. I would just be out there getting everyone ready, and I just the performance of that, and then being able to spin records on Fridays there. We had DJs come in every Friday play. So I was just that was although I already had the love of music kind of circulating in my body, that was my thing already. Amoeba was just my formative education. It was schooling for me too. It was all right, you want to do it? This is how serious you have to be about it, And then it just became that was it. Yeah.
Nice. Who would you name as some early influences on your style and sound when you started DJing?
Definitely the Bay Area. I was always, when I started DJing, Jazzy Jeff has always been my forefather of DJing. You know what I'm saying? Even Rich Medina, Philly, the sound of Philadelphia has been really important to my upbringing in terms of just the type of DJs, the music, the hip hop, the house music, all types of flavor in there. But I mean, I'm from the Bay Area, so like the Bay Area has produced some of the best DJs in the world, you know, like per capita, just like they're busting out DJs left and right, you know, and like them being able to play all different types of genre, J Boogie, triple threat DJs, you know, all these guys are like DJ Doc Fu, Ross Q, 4 a.m., all these cats that worked at Amoeba, actually, DJ LS, Luis Soria, like these guys all work at Amoeba. So the big DJs that were working there at the time were like my older brothers, and like they really helped guide me and shape me in terms of like, yo, you could play a 2-hour set of music, you could play a 1-hour set of music, you could drop salsa, you could drop house, you could drop hip hop, you could drop, you know, all types of flavor as long as you're keeping the vibe and, you know, all that. So like I really learned from those guys. I mean, the Bay Area, like I said, has produced some of the illest DJs in terms of cross genre music. And so I'm grateful I came from that, because that was very important in my musical taste. I mean, I identify and associate myself now. I'm a music head off top, but like, you know, like house music is like just my vibe and my flavor. That's just like just the type of music that runs through my veins. But hip hop is also so nostalgic, and it's like, that's like my foundation. I can't ever forget that. And I'm a hip hop head. You see how I dress, you see like my vibe. Like I'm a hip hop head, but
Very much.
you know, but like the music that I love playing and even working on production wise, and seeing people come together. And I mean, music does that for sure, but just like in my experiences and my travels, like just house music and seeing people move on a dance floor like that is just like, is it for me. Yeah.
What about hip house?
Not a huge fan. Not a huge fan. I like Brenmore. Because Brenmore's his saying is, I'm too house for the hip hop kids, and I'm too hip hop for the house kids.
Right. So you served as director of worldwide bookings and partnerships for LA-based music collective Selection, which helped educate your view on the business side of the industry and led to collaborations with Def Jam Records, Nike, Puma, K-Swiss, and Sony, among others. What are some more important lessons that you learned working for Selection? For
sure. I mean, those brands and companies that you mentioned, I had actually acquired and worked on my solo career stuff.
Okay, so prior to them.
Yeah, but I mean, prior to them, yeah, and post them as well. But I mean, you know, working with a collective like that, it was an important part of my career. I'll say that for sure. And I learned a lot from it. I learned what I really loved about the music industry, and I learned what I really disliked about the music industry. So it's like I had a very wavy experience working with that collective, and so it was good. I mean, it was good for my career. I'm very grateful for the work that I did with them. I feel very successful in the work that I did for them and what I was producing and what my role was and my responsibilities. For me, mainly, it's like just that was a taste of like how powerful music can really be, you know, and like and at the end of the day, what it also taught me was, you know, you could have dope music, you can have dope artists, you can have dope this and dope that, but it's all about how you treat people, and it's all about relationships. And that's really inevitably was what's gonna like last in this music industry shit, because it's like, you know, it's just important just to have these relationships, because you never know when you're gonna get tapped in, you never know who's watching, you never know any of that. So it's like, it's always important just to like maintain good relationships, and the business will come. You know, if you're a good person, you work hard, it's gonna happen, you know, but not burning bridges and not treating people like shit, and just like really treating people with respect. And like, I think that inevitably is what's gonna last to the end of time, you know?
Yeah, I live my life by that, yeah.
Totally.
So when did philanthropy become one of your priorities?
I think early on, low key, like, I used to love helping my mom at school. Like I used to, like my summers I would spend with her at her summer school, and I would help her and like work with the kids, and just like always giving my time back. You know, I just always wanted to just like, you know, helping my homies, you know, with whatever projects they had, and never asking for much. And like, you know, like as a kid, you know, my mom was like, don't give other kids your toys, like these are your toys, you know, like why are you giving all your toys away, you know? But for me, I'm like, you know, it's more fun when you're playing with other people and you got mad toys, you know, like anyways. so that's the whole vibe. It's like I've always just had the mentality of like, if I win, you win, I win, then you win, and I win. It's just this crazy cycle, you know, it just continues and continues. And so I want that for me and my team. That's at the very like core of what I do with room service, my company, and my team. And like, I hate like micromanaging, and I hate micromanagers, and I hate like, you know, being told what to do all the time. You know, I think it's important to have direction and all that, but I just want people to live their lives and be free and do their thing, and you create much more beautiful work that way, you know. And just giving the people keep giving people the freedom to do things. But in essence, like I don't know, I feel like in my career, like I've been given so much in my career. Like I've traveled all over the world multiple thousands of times, and like been to all these places and played all this beautiful music. And you know, artists get treated like royalty sometimes, which is crazy to me, you know. And for me, I'm just like, yo, like there has to be more than just that. It's like we have to be able to like now go to these places that have given us so much and we've taken so much of the resources. Like it's time for us to really give back and really put something back in the community, and like, you know, like really provide and make things sustainable. You know, it's like can't keep taking from all these places and expect it to always be super like rich, you know. And like in terms of like the resources and the nutrients, like we have to keep the dollar circulating, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's really important, especially for the next generation, you know, so they see that it's not all about, you know, collecting the bag and being out, you know. It's more to it than that. And so yeah.
So you touched a little bit on room service. The first major initiative of Room Service International was in May of 2018, benefiting underserved children in the slum communities of Tondo, Manila, and helping to spread awareness of the conditions of extreme poverty in the Philippines. Where did you come up with the idea to create RSI, and what are some of the main goals which drive the organization?
Yeah, so the main goals, I mean, we're a community action organization. Our mission is to live a life of service. The 4 pillars of room service: travel, philanthropy, sound, and capture. So we're actually the ones physically present there. We travel there. So philanthropy is we put the gloves on, we get down and dirty. Like we plant the soil, we plant the trees and the plants, and like we're the ones like really beautifying these buildings. Like we're huge on infrastructure and food and hunger and education. Like we actually are the ones implementing these initiatives in these, or working with organizations. The sound component, everything is powered by music. Music is the nucleus of what we do. So without the event, without our DJ sets, without us working with promoters and being in these venues and playing music, there is no room service. Like it's like that's how we get there. That's like the catalyst that allows us to connect with everyone. The capture component is, you know, bringing these stories to life. It's like really being able to share this content with the rest of the world and show people what it is, what the rest of the world looks like. You know, it's not just the hotel and the fancy restaurants and the SUVs to and from the airport, the hotel, the venue, backstage. It's like really like these folks, these friends and these people of ours, like they're coming from the townships, they're coming from the hood, you know, they're coming like 45 hours to come see us rock. Like, let's go out there and shoot. Let's go out there and stay with them. Like, let's go out there and crash with their moms and see what they're cooking. Like, let's go to the shop. Let's do the barbecues. Let's do all that kind of stuff. So that's the whole, and like, how do we bring those stories to life? I mean, quickly, how I started room service, I was on my first tour through India a few years back, and same sort of concept, right? Like I was there, and you know, we were driving from, I was driving from I think from Pune to Mumbai, and we're staying at the Taj Hotel, you know, and it's like, you know, we get blessed when we walk in. There's rose petals in my room, up to a tub that I didn't even use. So I was there for like a couple nights or something. You know, I'm looking out to the Mumbai bridge, and I'm just like, holy shit, like, what a blessing. One, like, you know, I worked so hard to be here, and there's still so much that I can do. And then the phone rings, and I'm looking at the Mumbai bridge, and they're like, Mr. Galvez, let us know if you need room service, if you need anything, like, let us know, we could help you. And that it just clicked to me. I was like, oh my God, that's it. Like room service, like how can we be the ones to serve the rest of the world, you know, like through our music and through what we do with creative arts and like our people on the ground here. So that's been the philosophy from the jump. And yeah, that's the kind of basis of what we do.
So you talked a bit about all the countries you've been to. As someone who's toured extensively for many years with an undeniable love for travel, both within the U.S. and internationally, how has the pandemic and social distancing guidelines affected your routine?
Well, the what we do best is in real life, you know. So unfortunately, that you know, since the pandemic hit, we haven't been able to travel at all. So like, that's been completely cut out of the equation, you know. But the fact that we're still able to connect with people through digital streaming, through the online life, I mean, it's very important. Like, we still have that link to the world, and I mean, honestly, like, we can't be in 50 places at one time anyway. So it's like, I'm always connecting with my people through email and through WhatsApp and through, you know, technology itself. So that has never changed. That has only amplified, honestly, because just the fear of not being able to travel ever again, right?
Right.
But you know, us pivoting into this digital world has been really important to us, and like, you know, learning the game again, like pivoting and understanding like what it is to, like, you know, have an extra, be that extra voice and that stronger voice on social media, whether through its Twitch or Instagram or Instagram Live and these interviews and stuff. It's like, you know, how do we stay connected to our audience? Because you know, it's important that we just, like, we don't fall off the map, even though we can't be there touring or traveling, you know, in real life. We can still find ways to educate one another, to bring awareness to issues that are really important in society, like to do fundraising, to like support other people's projects. It's a good time to just like fall back and be like, damn, you know what? This is a good time to support my homies. It's a good time to support dope music that I might have not had time to like check out or like support because I was in 50 places at one time, you know? So it's like, so now it's just like, it gives us some more time to like chill out and like really listen to a record front to back, you know, and like really like explore those sounds a little more. And so it opens up a lot. But yeah, I mean, I think the fact that my team and I are here in New York, it's like, it gives us another opportunity to shed light on the city and work on something that we can do to give back to our immediate community here in New York. And so that's why we're starting Room Service Music Fest and the festival we're working on, and still doing what we can to support creatives, local organizations, and still do some fly shit, still play music, still do everything that we do, but like with the basis of we're here to support and we're here to like give back to our city, you know. And hopefully that inspires the rest of the world. And you know, I put out so much mixes and music like the past like 8 months, like in the pandemic, like mad music, you know. So it's like, you know, someone in Paris, someone in South Africa, like in Asia, like I'm dropping this mix with this radio station in Montreal on Friday, like our own streaming, you know, every week there's mad music, like supporting different folks and their music. So it's like, you know, that is what essentially I think it is going to keep us connected. So when this does end, you know, like people are still like, oh, they're still working on their craft, they're still working on their music and still producing, you know, cool stuff.
So you mentioned the Room Service Music Fest. It's an online interactive live stream festival to celebrate all things New York and the resilience of its residents during these trying times. Which will take place on Saturday, December 12th. How can those with the means to do so support the event?
Yeah, thank you. So Room Service Music Fest, we are currently producing right now. It's you know, I produced the first selection experience back a few years ago, and that was a huge undertaking, and working with agents, and you know, that we're throwing like a digital festival is even crazier, like because you're working with video specs, and each individual, it's not just a DJ set, but each individual artist needs to provide certain things and certain specs, and you're working with different venues and jumping around the city and filming everything yourself, and then airing it, you know, then the live portion of it that comes, the graphics, animations, illustrations. So there's a lot of work that my team has been putting into this, and I'm so grateful to have them. Like, they're so dope at what they do, like so creatively, like they're geniuses. And then the creatives on the lineup as well. So health and wellness, mind, body, and soul. Mind, body, and soul health and wellness professionals. So there's a dope yoga instructor, dope fitness instructor, a mental health check-in, working with different restaurants, a mixologist, and then we have 6 hours of DJs. I want everyone to tune in and really check out the flyer and the creative. It's all over my page. It's all over room service. Some amazing creatives in New York City. I mean, the whole point of this is like, since the pandemic hit, I've been quarantining here since Thursday, March 12th. Like I went back to the Bay once to visit my family out there. And yeah, wasn't born in New York, but like my home is New York. Like it's either people who were born in New York or live here and live and breathe and die and will die in New York. It's like, this is like our home, it's like, so for us, it's like, no matter where we are in the world, no matter what we're working on, we call New York our home. We call it like, this is the place that our heart is at. So for us, it's like, the pandemic this was the epicenter of the pandemic. Like, huge shout out to all the essential workers, all the medical workers. Like, our condolences, like to the deceased that have passed through COVID. And it's sad. It's like, it's sad. As sad as it is, like New York has still remained so strong throughout this whole process, like during the Black Lives Matter movement, which is the movement that will never end, like this is something that like is something that we have been fighting for and are fighting for. And it's like just the negative light that we received in the media from that, and then this whole media outlets will try to have you believe that New York is dead and all this sort of thing, and so far from the truth, and it's like, so for us, I'm just like, how do we show the world, like, how do we continue showing the world that New York is not dead, it's still popping, there's so much amazing beauty going on here in New York. How can we show them through our platform and connect with our network and our homies and our friends that are doing amazing things here to really put it on for the city with amazing graphics, amazing animation, amazing stories, and not only that, so we're supporting the creatives on the lineup, behind the scenes. And most importantly, like we've partnered officially with Big Brothers Big Sisters of New York City. They're our official beneficiary. So it's like, not only are we supporting creatives on the lineup and those working hard behind the scenes, but the next generation of New Yorkers, So it's like, so we're keeping this, we're keeping everything circulated and keeping as much of the flavor alive, like with our platform and what we're doing. And, it's just something amazing to work on. And if we can generate some amazing, we can generate some money to help support everyone involved. I mean, it's hard right now. Like our industry's been hit, like every industry that requires in real life connection and personal touch has been really affected, so whether you're working in gyms or whether you're working in yoga studios or you're taking clients to your office for mental health check-in and therapy, obviously the restaurant industry, bartenders, waitresses, waiters, I mean, venue owners, and of course DJs, like everyone's been hit so hard. So how do we create like a little bit of economy? And we need all the support that we can get. We have a GoFundMe campaign that we launched, and we're asking for donations via the GoFundMe. If there's any dope brands and companies that are watching this that want to support as well, like holler at me, hit me up. Like, and anyone that has more information or would want more information, you can feel free to hit me up. Room Service INTL on Instagram as well. And the GoFundMe and the link tree, the whole site and everything that we're working on the festivals on my profile. And yeah, it's just it's a tribute to New York from New York.
Nice. So one last question. So you've been vocal on issues related to activism, racism, and white supremacy, oppression and toxic masculinity, artist responsibility, and all the moves that Room Service International has made to affect change in these areas. As someone who recognizes that you make a living off Black music that was created out of injustice, misrepresentation, and disenfranchisement, which actions have you witnessed making the most impact in the last 6 months?
What actions from Room Service?
from any room service moves, any moves that you've been privy to or witnessed?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful. I mean, again, this all goes back to like New York, right? New York is like, there's so many organizations, so many bars, like so many grants and financial resources that different venues and operators have used to assist primarily Black people and people of color and marginalized communities. And like, you know, even room service and myself, like we try to submit our work and what we're doing to try to receive some of these grants, because my team is all by POC. Like we're all people of color. We're all from different origins and different diversities. And it's like, you know, just seeing the fact that like that has been happening in New York, and like, you know, even like Friends and Lovers, for example, like they've helped put out like an amazing like assistant in the New York nightlife grant fundraising that they were doing. And it's like, you know, it's like, and of course, like just seeing like, you know, folks in Street Dreams magazine and just like sell some of their prints to support different organizations. And like, you know, we've supported Seeds in the Middle. It's an organization that helps educate food sustainability, food education in underserved communities in Brownsville and in South Brooklyn. And it's like, you know, we're all I think you know, I think this fight, like I said, is something that's going to be continuing and ongoing. And I think the fact that it's become part of like, you know, it's now even more so becoming the forefront of people's initiatives and how they're moving forward, what they want to work on is like really important. And so, yeah, no, I think it's great that it's at the forefront of what everyone's working on. And that's the whole point again with Room Service and Room Service Music Fest, and like pushing diversity and pushing inclusion and really representing like all faces of New York and all facets. And I think this festival, apart from like it being like, you know, a fundraiser or like putting on the creatives, it's really like what's behind the stories behind the creatives and like really who they are and what they represent. And I really hope people can really feel that type of energy like when they watch the live stream on December 12th. And yeah, you know, and I mean, it's happening every day in New York. I love the fact of how like New York is just one of the most like beautifully conscious places in the world. You know, it's like these conversations are happening and these hard conversations are happening, and it's just like it's you know, I think like unfortunately like there's been like a little like there's these waves of when it comes in and out, but like I just think I think it's something that we as a collective are constantly like really thinking about, like what's the right messaging and how are we communicating, you know, our vision and what we want to do to the rest of the world. And so it's something that's ongoing, whether it's design or the music or in communication. So yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot, and I think it's been pretty incredible to witness that for sure.
Nice. Well, Julio, I appreciate you taking the time. Is there anything else you want to add or promote?
No, that's it. I mean, yeah, keep spreading love, and I appreciate everyone that's watching, and please support Room Service International, Room Service INTL on Instagram, and everyone that's been tuning in and saying what's up, showing love. Thank you. Appreciate everything, and stay positive, and you know what I'm saying, like take proper precaution. You know what I'm saying, like wear a mask and practice social distancing and keep it tight with the people that you love, and you know, I think it's a really important time for us to get through this, and I think we're gonna get through this for sure. Yeah, I'm grateful for all this, and I'm grateful for you as well. Thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Thanks so much. Have a good night.
Thank you too. Peace.